Okay, cool. Hello everyone. Thanks for joining. And the topic is pretty straightforward. There's no rocket science. How to do project estimation. And I'm sure all of you guys into business of the ERP implementation and service providers, consultants, have to basically face this activity day in, day out, wherein you have to basically do project estimation for your prospect, the customers, and at times, what we have seen is basically there are quite a few partners who struggle a lot at times who over-engineer things which isn't required, and at times it leads to commitment issues also because partners follow different pricing model and in the interest of getting bigger order, the way project estimation and everything is done later on create and lead to issues. So before I jump to topic, I'll quickly brief you guys on what are the broad estimation model which are very prevalent in the implementation industry as such. It's not something very specific to ERP implementation, but ERPNext implementation, but in general, what is really prevalent. So how partners quote customers. So there are typically three way. The first is basically for standard implementation, which we generally advocate also. And it generally says that if you just want to do, let's say, vanilla implementation of core modules, which includes sales, purchase, inventory, manufacturing, then you have fixed amount. The amount which I've mentioned here is not the final amount, it's just the indicative amount. In this process, you sort of don't go through the very extensive extensive estimation process or anything like that. All you have is basically if you want these modules, then this is the price. If you also want HR module, then this is the additional price. If you also want manufacturing module, then X plus. So this is uh, a good model because here you can actually prevent the entire efforts of estimating project way before jumping into it. It increases your pre-sale cost, and because before giving I mean the quotation and getting the order, you have to actually involve in yourself into lots of project requirement estimation and whatnot. This in this model, this can be prevented because you are actually giving standard price for the core modules vanilla implementation, right? So in some sense, this has its own benefits. The other approach is basically fixed bid, wherein for the entire project, you have to basically give one single quote. And since you have to basically give one single quote, which includes vanilla of ERPNext implementation plus customization, you have to basically go through complete requirement gathering and then scoping, designing, and doing your effort estimation, and then giving a price for implementation, right? Uh, and at times, as the very nature of ERP implementation process, there is generally variations in the requirements later on. Not only in the how much amount it takes actually for execution, but the requirement itself would change. There will be new requirement. The way you thought it would be implemented, no, it cannot be done in that way. There are lots of challenges with respect to the process itself. So there is a requirement of process engineering before actually doing the customization and whatnot. So there are lots of unforeseen feature also. Keeping all that into account, when you do fixed bid, when you don't have complete control over what's coming in future, it becomes a bit risky. But generally, people follow this so that there is a very, very specific definition as to what is being delivered. Also in respect of customization, and also these are little high value project. I mean, the number I mentioned is just again indicative, but generally people do 10 to 15 lakh, 20 lakh, or 100,000, 200,000 worth project here. But you have to go through lots of scoping, and there's lots of unforeseen challenges in this. And thirdly, the model which we have generally seen is a retainer model, wherein once you have actually, let's say, done some delivery, either through standard model or fixed bid model, and you have actually won the confidence of the customer. Uh, at the same time, this customer is actually ready to engage with you for multiple future projects, but don't want to go into the complete hassle of estimation and whatnot. For that case, you kind of just sell the retainer model to the customer, that if you want one developer for a month, this is the cost. If you just want one senior consultant So for the junior developer, senior developer, you can have different costing. For the senior consultant, junior consultant, you can have senior costing. But here also you kind of escape through complete complete process of requirement gathering and processing. But yeah, so once you have the confidence with the customer, this is probably the ultimate thing you can try and reach. So yeah, so the problem why we basically made a tool to kind of help partners, even not just Frappe partner, but also the partners in the ecosystem to do project estimations is there were customers who actually felt that there was lots of disparity in the quotes received from multiple partners. One partner actually would code something based on, say, fixed bits. Someone would code the vanilla. Someone would code something else. That disparity actually didn't give confidence to the customer on the ecosystem itself. And what we thought is basically, can we, kind of provide a tool which could help partners follow the standard estimation process. And this is something we were using internally also at Parape for some time, especially in the days when we were doing implementation. But now that we were not doing implementation, we just kind of convert this into application so that partners could use it for project estimation. So let's quickly jump to the demo as to how this tool works. Okay, so I'm on my test ERPNext site, and before I jump to the demo, I would just like to highlight that there is a app called ERPNext Price Estimation. It is on GitHub and it is open source, which means if you want to install this app on your ERPNext account, you can very much do this. Now, how it works, I'll give you a very quick demo. So this app has already been installed on this particular site. So here you can see the ERPNext price estimation is already installed on this particular site. Now, all we have to do is basically just go to this doc type called ERPNext price estimation. Okay. And here you'll have to select a customer for whom you are doing this price estimation. So customer is selected. Domain, you can simply select distribution, manufacturing, or what. Let's say distribution here. And you can just put some brief, that Manila implementation plus core or critical customization, let's say. So this is put. And then you simply pick the modules. The entry itself is, I think, very much simplified. So all you have to do is basically simply put the modules, the accounts, buying, stock, and HRMS, right? Every time I pick a module, you would see that there will be a table which would get visible, right? For buying, there's a separate table. For account, there's a separate table. For stock, there's a separate table, in which whatever you need to be done in that particular module, you need to basically do, say, stock reconciliation, which could take some time. For variance, it could take some time, and things like that. You have some breakup of activities, as to what needs to be done to ensure that HR implementation is done. These are the type of configuration you'll have to do. And based on the let's say effort of the or the scale of the project, of course there'll be something additional also, right? For example, you figure out is basically that in this particular thing, there'll be lots of effort into say item setup, so here you can simply say that for item setup, configuration effort generally takes say 5 hours, but here it's gonna take say 30 hours. So standard is probably 2 hours, but here it's going to take 30 hours because you have to basically do lots of the volume of item master itself is huge, right? And same way here you can say that there's some customization. And what is this customization about? Let's say it's about BOM. And here you estimate that the amount of hours it will take would be say 20 hours, right? So though it gives you the template, it's pretty flexible. Leave setup, let's say you figure out that in this particular company you are working with, there's lots of, let's say, variations in terms of leave allocation, and you want to change it to 5 hours. So you can change it to 5 hours. So it gives you the structure. Rest is all math. You can add hours, reduce hour based on thing. And eventually what you will do is basically you'll get total configuration hours, total other efforts hours. So total hours is what you get. Now here, the hourly rate which you have to put, this is something which can be based on your expertise, right? So, and so even if, let's say, other partners estimate the project on the same, it's not necessary that you have to basically do same implementation at the same cost. You can actually, let's say if someone is charging, say, 1,000, you can very much put it 2,000 as far as you are able to justify it as to how to, why let's say 2,000 per hour, and move forward with this. So this is the tool for the complete project estimation, is what we have provided out of the box. You can add more components as per your requirement. And secondly, what we have is basically along with implementation, you'll have to basically provide two more components to the customer, which will be, let's say, Frappe Cloud Plan and AMC. So if you are, let's say, pitching dedicated hosting on FC, you can put validity to be, say, 1 year. Rate would be, let's say, 2,40,000, and here you get the amount, right? Or you can also put 12 months, and the rate could be 20,000 or something like that, right? So eventually, I mean, you'll get the same amount. And then for your own AMC, which generally is a problem in the partner ecosystem, is what we have observed. In the price estimation only, you can actually put AMC by very definition. It will be for an year, and you can say it will be, let's say, 50,000, just for the sake of it. And yeah, so here you can save this, and then it gives you a print format, very simple print format, wherein you can get the customer detail, project brief, what are the modules which are involved in the implementation, what is the configuration hours, other efforts, total hours, what is the per hour rate, and total cost. And then you have other components like traffic route, which you can actually mention as a different line item also. When you give proposal to the customer, you can put implementation and this price with this description. This can go into description. You can put traffic cloud, you can put annual maintenance charges as in different line item. And if you want to basically just kind of give an impression as to how complicated implementations are and how many settings, different types of settings you have to go through, you can also provide this breakup. Because generally what we have seen is in other ecosystem like Oracle and everything, there is the quotation process itself is pretty comprehensive and detailed, right? So this can also help your customer kind of develop the empathy as to when you just say set up our company account master setup, how many configurations are involved, and you can add more into it. You can deduct which are not applicable. So all those things are very much possible. So with that, I think I'll do this, stop this screen share, and okay. So I see your messages. So I can do the Q&A based on whatever messages you have sent in now. Mm, Chat, I see the option of chat, and I'm not sure why it's not visible for you guys, but I think I've enabled it for everyone from my side. So I see 6 open question. Yeah, so Salim Mustafa says, very nice product to price estimation app. Thanks, Salim. Hope you use this application and let us know how it helps. And Ganesh, we are recording this session, so I think recording will be available. Yeah, sorry for the figures. I think it's just indicative. I mean, you can pick the value which works for you. Yeah, it's not, there's nothing hard and fast rule around. Okay, so these are the messages I think I have received in chat. So Carlos wanted to say something. Carlos, would you like to? I think I've given you talk permission. So you can unmute yourself and say, I mean, you can, I think, speak. If anyone else also want to kind of come in and contribute, you can send the request and I'll unmute you so that you can talk. Carlos, you raise your hand. Would you like to say something? Ahmed, would you like to say something?
Assalamu alaikum, Umair.
Yeah, Ahmed.
Thanks for this app. Actually, we have used it for almost a week. It's very nice and productive app. We use it with a lot of, we consumed a lot of time and a lot of effort for the estimation. But now, by using this app, we save a lot of time from my team.
Oh, you're already using it?
Yes, I'm using it right now. And actually, I sent a lot of quotations for a lot of customers using, not quotation, estimations, using this app to a lot of customers. It saves time. It saves time in negotiation actually with the other customer because before that we just send to them, hi, this project will cost you, for example, 5K. But now he can see why 5K, which tool will consume more than other modules, how much customization it needs, the cost of customization, and everything. I have only one concern. If you change the, it's not a concern, and actually it can be done by our development team or by Frabi. If you change the currency to US dollar, the print format will still in the company currency. Okay, this is part one. Part two, if I have a lot of companies, for example, here in my situation, I have a company in Egypt and another company in US. I cannot select which company will work on this project.
Okay. Yeah. So company selected, simply company and the currency selected is what you're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah, and once we have the company, I think country can also come in automatically.
Yes.
So I think yeah, it will be nice if you can basically add it as a issue on the respective repository of this app on the GitHub. For now, I am adding it. Option to select company and currency. Fair enough.
Okay. Other thing, it will be perfect if we can link this estimation with quotation or sales order, something like that, for tracing, of course. It will be perfect. Otherwise, we already use it, and it's very, very awesome app.
Yeah. So, what was your last suggestion? Could you please come again?
Link the estimation doc type with quotation or sales invoice.
So that's part of respective modules, right? Accounts, I think sales invoice would be there, and in CRM quotation would be there. Okay. You're saying linking it with the okay. That is something you can do. Probably using the connections feature in doc type, right? In each doc type, there is a feature to add connections, custom connections. So you can go to quotation or sales order doc type and add this doc type as a connection.
Okay, perfect. I will do.
Okay, fair enough. There are quite a few questions, so I'll take it one by one. Mitesh says, will the doc types be automatically added when new doc types are added to ERPNext, HRMS, others? No, it won't be automatically added. Mitesh, it's a master actually. The module estimation is also a master. Maybe I'll just try and do my screen sharing again. So I think as a community, we'll have to, I think, keep upgrading it so that the latest modules are also covered. For example, what you see here, estimation details, right? So if I just go to estimation process, these are the tables in which this is built. So for, let's say, school, fees management. Yeah, so these are the basically kind of sub process, estimation process, which is actually then used into building this master. So it's actually a master which is linked and it's fetched here. So I think we'll have to, based on our understanding, we have added all these doc types by default. But when this new doc type added, we'll have to basically update the master of this thing to kind of have new doc types also show. So hope this answers your question. It's open source, so I mean any one of us can contribute and send the pull request. Thanks, Achal. And then there's an anonymous user. How do we evaluate the time and price estimation to solve the data discrepancy come during data import, especially related to stock data? So generally, basically what I have seen in the standard implementation, you have to basically restrict the scope based on some estimation. Let's say if you have say 5,000 items, then 5 hours is okay. But if you have say 30,000 items, then you can actually, keeping some margin, you'll have to basically estimate your hours, and also very clearly set expectation with the customer that this is the format in which they have to give data, so that whatever cleanup task which is actually might come on your way or in your lap, you have to basically very clearly set the responsibility, right? That the customer has to basically give their data in a specific format. And so I think that way it is probably a part of handling commitments. You should have a multiplier based on the volume of data. But to ensure the complete garbage data is not thrown at you, you should also specify the formats in which data should be given by the customer. Is it available to install on FC Frappe Cloud? It's not for now, because it's only for the, I think, community members. We'll see. But for now, it's there on GitHub. So I think you can also install open source apps, which is published on GitHub on your FC sites. So you can do that in that way. Is this app available on all versions from V13 to V13 and up? We have not tested it on V13 and 14. It definitely works on V15 and the develop branch. And you should have your production size updated on V15. Sorry. Murtuza mentioned that I showed some cost. So is that cost for Frappe developer? No. So Frappe is not into services at all. We don't do any implementation or product development or feature development as per the customization requirement. As I mentioned earlier, also these are all indicative price which I mentioned, and it's I mean it can be half or 2x or 3x based on which country you are in, what is the inflation rate like, or the status of current currency, like so it can vary from country to country. The point is how people do the estimation. In the standard implementation, they have fixed price based on the module. In fixed bid, they have final price, but you have to go through lots of scoping and whatnot. So in retainer, you have fixed price based on the experience of a person who would be dedicated with that customer for a month or so. So these are the different model. Price would be based on the market situation, where which prevails in your region. So I think these are the questions I have received on chat. If anyone else want to unmute themselves and share their experience, I'll be happy to unmute them.
Sorry, Umair, I have another note.
Yeah. You can just raise your hand. Those who want to talk, you can simply raise your hand, because I think it's only discussion. The tool is pretty simple to use. So there's no much to show, but yeah, we can have a discussion.
Okay. Okay. So my another note. As you can see, you can select only customers in this page. But in estimation phase, you only select leads, not a customer. So I have to convert all my leads to customers to starting using this estimation, ERPNext estimation. So what I'm asking for, the same behavior in quotation. You can select a lead or customer. Based on that, it will be automatic filtering on that type.
Fair enough, fair enough. I think I've noted it, so I'll add it as an issue on the respective model.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I think there's one question: are success packs available outside India? So I think thanks for reminding. I wanted to basically talk about that. So this is again kind of standardized implementation packs, which we don't do. When I say we, Frappe doesn't deliver this. It's only delivered through our selected partners in that region. For example, for the West region or the Pune region, we have Ganesh. He's also on the call. So they basically kind of provide this implementation module to the customer, and as scope increases, they later on switch to the full-fledged implementation plan. But this is good to start with, wherein you're basically based on the hours of the customer. So they don't want to. I mean, there are very price-sensitive customers who don't want to kind of fully commit to the project without, getting a flavor of it and trying it in a particular, in a very specific kind of department or a process. So this gives the flexibility even to the customer to start small and for the partner to sort of acquire the customer and start small. Typically, typical land and expand model. So those who are actually new in the ecosystem, they can probably use it as an indicator. Again, as in sort of indicative prices, which or the services, I would rather say, prices would be again based on where you live and what are the prevailing prices there in that particular region. But a very, very limited scope for implementation. And the core part of this is basically it promises vanilla implementation. It doesn't promises customization or lots of scoping and everything. So I mean, the great learning in this entire process for us also, and also for the other partners, is basically most profitable project if you want to do it would be a vanilla implementation. So be it standard implementation, this pricing estimation tool, or success pack, whichever way, but doing standard vanilla implementation would be the key. If you are a new partner in the ecosystem and you're serving SMBs, then I think proposing standard vanilla implementation to the customer can be a great start once you have the product expertise, of course. Once you have the product expertise and you want to acquire more customers, which is your priority, then this model can be definitely work in your favor. It's not available for now. It's not available outside India. We are just exploring this in India for now. As I said, in other countries, the dynamics, the pricing will be different. I think we'll try and roll it out in other countries. Any option to add the training hours needed per user module to add? No, I think you'll have to maybe add it in the setup. So there, I think you can add the training hours. If you have a better structure as to apart from say module feature setup and whatnot, you can actually propose. But what we are estimating is basically this hours will give you the overall hours which would be required for taking customer live. Cool. I guess this is all we have for now. I'm sorry I've been uh, a bit down for today. So if there are no further questions, I'll have to. I think we can call it a day for now. All right. I will take your permission. Hope you found this useful. Uh, thanks, Salim, for the kind words. I'll just put the repository link here in chat, which I hope you guys will receive. So yeah, I think I put it in chat, so you can follow the link from there. Cool. Thanks everyone. Taking your permission for now. Take care. Bye.